Josh. Testing. Hi, everybody. Blue microphone. Blue microphone. Hello, everybody.
All right, good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing? It's wonderful to see all of you here this evening. Thank you for coming, giving up some of your time on a Wednesday night. I really appreciate it. Just as we get started, we are live streaming it. There's just been, a lot of COVID going around. We are good on the live stream, so praise the Lord for that. When it comes to doing these kinds of things, it seems like there's demons in our technology. Every time, our projectors normally work just fine, and randomly on a Wednesday night, they decided not to work as we got started and ran the tests and the video and stuff like that. So we have a workaround, but that is why this random cord is hanging from our ceiling. I'm not going to blame me and Chase and Al for putting up sound panels. We may have made vibrations or something in the ceiling. I don't know. We're not sure. But I just want to thank Jeff and Josh and Michael for working tirelessly to try to have a workaround, and we will have the video. We're trying to time it with audio. So anyways, these guys worked really hard to get the video together, and I'm excited to present it. So I am really excited to present everything tonight for you. Actually, I'm not presenting it. The team is presenting it. But just as we're praying for the meeting tonight, as we kind of the pastoral staff gathered for prayer this morning, we were reminded of a verse in Ephesians chapter 2, and I really wanted to kind of start with that this morning. Starting in chapter 2:11, it's a good chunk of text, but I think as we come to this meeting tonight, as people are joining us online, I want us to remember our heart, our calling to fulfill our ministry and to build up the church. So in Ephesians 2, as Paul's writing to Jews and to Gentiles, he says this. In verse 11, he says, "Therefore, remember that at one time you Gentiles in the flesh called the uncircumcision by what is called the circumcision, which is made in the flesh by hands. Remember that you were at that time separate from Christ, alienated from the commonwealth of Israel, and strangers to the covenants of the promise, having no hope and without God in the world. But now, in Christ Jesus, you who were once far off have been brought near by the blood of Christ. For he himself is our peace, who has made us both one and has broken down in his flesh the dividing wall of hostility by abolishing the law of commandments expressed in ordinances, that he might create in himself one new man in place of the two, so making peace, and might reconcile us both to God in one body through the cross, thereby killing the hostility. And he came and preached peace to you who were far off, and peace to those who were near. For through him we both have access in one spirit to the Father. So then you are no longer strangers and aliens, but you are fellow citizens with the saints and members of the household of God, built on the foundation of the apostles and the prophets, Christ Jesus himself being the cornerstone, in whom the whole structure being joined together grows into a holy temple in the Lord. In him you also are being built together into a dwelling place for God by the Spirit." And so I read this just to remind us that we are one body, we are one family in Christ, right? And so the spirit of what we're doing here tonight is unifying. We're recognizing that our story, each of us have the same story. We were far from Jesus, and at one point he called us to himself, and we together worship and celebrate as a family. And so what we're talking about tonight, what we're discussing, is how to steward the facilities that God has graciously given us, how to steward the place where we gather to worship, how to steward the place where we call those who are far from Jesus to come worship with us to hear the gospel. That's the heart behind what we're doing. So the heart behind the Paving the Way project is one that my desire is that we would have unity, that we would have questions, that we would have clarity on tonight, and ultimately our conversation would glorify God. The discussion would glorify him, and that we would, as we kind of move forward and look to do this, that it would be something that unites us, that builds our relationship and grows us together. If it's something that's going to divide us or tear us apart, then I just don't even want to touch it. I don't care about it. Unity is much more important to me, and Jesus is way more important than anything else. This is simply about stewardship and moving forward together as a family. So for us, this conversation's been an ongoing one for a couple of years now. And so as we council meeting, I believe, over a year ago now, COVID year, I lose one. 2021, I believe, council meeting, as we got together, we said we need to figure this out. Kind of the updates to the sanctuary were on hold, and we needed a better presentation. At the same time, as many of you are aware, if you were at council meeting, the property that we had been waiting for to purchase for years became available, and so the feedback from the congregation at our meeting was, let's put it together and create one presentation. So we reached out to people in the congregation. The elders kind of put forward, I mean, Al is one of our elders and on the property management team, so we reached out to different people that serve on different teams and have professional capabilities, and Chase is kind of headed up that, kind of pulling from all the different volunteers. This is not the whole team, but these are the people that were willing to sit up here tonight and take questions. I'm just kidding, I'm sure, yeah. So anyways, having said that, I want you guys, I want to make sure, first of all, that all of you had kind of a pamphlet when you came in. There's information there. If you didn't have one, there's some back there, and we'll get them to you. We will have time for questions and feedback and all of that later, but I'm going to hand it over to Chase and let him do, kind of introduce the team, and then we'll have the video presentation, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Thank you, sir. You guys will see on the opening page of the booklet this team, and if there's one thing I can say, there's a lot of things I could say, but one thing that I think marked this team was professionalism. There was a lot of really good conversation. I mean, everything we presented to you tonight, we're presenting tonight, was from a united front within the team, and I think we actually, in the beginning, I was sorting out what it looked like, but we came together, and I think we gelled well. We had good discussion. We were able to make decisions. I was really thankful. Even with Paving the Way, that name was apparently used at one point, you know, back in the 80s, and so we threw it out there, and everybody was like, I like it, let's do it. And I was like, wait, like we just got unanimous, everybody's on board with Paving the Way, and they're like, yes. I was like, awesome. So the naming process that I had like given a week for, we came to a decision in about 30 seconds. So there was a lot of chemistry. It was good stuff, and everybody was very professional. So you'll see we have, if you guys can stand up on the team as I say your name, that would be great, just so everybody knows. So we had Terry Starr, Rose Grissinger, Ruth Ann Fry, Jackie Pearson, Al Conrad, Matt Burkholder, Michael Jacobs, Sarah Jacobs, myself, and Joel Black, who's unable to be here tonight. So that is what made up. So I mean, you can see there was engineers, there's it's just all over. It was a very good team that I think brought a lot of really great perspective. And I want to thank you guys for all your hard work. I especially want to thank Michael and Sarah. We're going to show a video here in a second. And we all put in hours, but you guys put in like weeks in an hour way. So thank you guys. I'm really excited about presenting this to you guys. I think it's going to give you the information. Basically, what you're seeing is here is what you'll see on the video. So that'll walk you through that. There is, on a couple pages, an area to take notes if there's something that pops up and you have a question for after we watch the video. So this is about an 8-minute explanation of the decisions we've made, the cost breakdown, and then if there's any questions to follow up, we will do that then. So enjoy.
Purchased the house that borders our parking lot.
Also, there has been ongoing discussion of making improvement to the sanctuary, including new carpet, lighting, and potential seating change, so we couldn't miss out on the opportunity to make the much-needed improvements. There are 2 phases that will break up the project. Phase 1 will be the sanctuary. We are already almost into the summer, and by starting with the sanctuary first, we will also be able to have inside work that can be done throughout the winter of 2023. Phase 2 will be the parking lot. We hope to break ground on this project next year and start potentially next spring. The sanctuary will be improved in 5 areas. New carpet that costs $22,648. New overhead sanctuary lighting that is estimated at $10,000. New paint for the walls at $2,500, new wall lighting at $4,000, and seating with a budget of $70,000. The total cost of Phase 1 will be $109,148. Earlier, the sanctuary budget was communicated, and there is an amount laid out for seating. This is something that comes with options, and the 2 options the committee has been discussing are the options of pews or theater seating. Both have their pros and cons and will be accepted by some, but not all. Paving the Way Committee has discussed this at great lengths, and we would like to present both options and then bring a recommendation. Option 1, pews. Pros for pews include variable size seating. They are immovable, and we would have the same amount of seating existing in the sanctuary right now. Cons for pews include they have a little bit more of a traditional look, and they are not versatile. The number of seats are hard to determine, but we do know that we have 42 pews, that's 630 linear feet of seating. The price would be around $70,000 for new pews. Another option is theater seating. Pros for theater seating include it is a more modern look, they do not move. Cons include less seating, they could be harder to clean, and it does not fit the aesthetic of the sanctuary. The number of seats would be 351 chairs, 601 linear feet of seating, and the pricing is $50,000. It is the recommendation of the committee that we purchase new pews for the sanctuary. This is honestly coming with weighing both options and determining this is the best way to move forward. Phase 2, as mentioned, will be the parking lot, and we've been blessed with someone who can explain it a whole lot better than I can.
For Phase 2, as Chase said, we have purchased the 2 properties adjacent to the church. We are planning to demolish the buildings on the properties, and the space is going to be paved over to add an additional 27 much-needed parking spaces. We're planning to add an outbuilding for equipment or landscaping storage.
We performed an aerial survey of the church and its properties to showcase the 2 adjoining properties that we have purchased. We used this to create a base map that we can use to scale our drawings to get quantities and how much work's going to need done. We were able to take that information and create a map showcasing what the parking's going to look like with the 27 new spots, possibly 30 depending on the location of this utility building. We were able to generate contours using LiDAR for elevation and our cut fill numbers.
The cost for this project includes piping and inlets for the stormwater, estimated around $20,000. an aggregate base and sub-base for the paving around $60,000, and line painting around $1,500 for the parking spaces. The curbing is going to be around $12,250, and the total demolition cost is going to be around $40,000. And a future equipment shed at $25,000, with a total of $159,500, rounded to about $160,000.
Church, we are so excited about moving forward with this project. If you notice the name Paving the Way, this was actually a name of a previous campaign when this church raised money to build another phase of the church. And we want to honor the past while welcoming in the future. And we are excited to truly pave the way, to create space in the sanctuary, to create space in the parking lot. We are so excited about raising money. And here's a breakdown of what we're hoping to get. The total cost of both phases will be about $275,000. We believe this is giving us a little cushion and we can meet this budget. Phase 1, the inside work on the sanctuary, our goal amount is $110,000. The date we would love to raise this is by December 31st, 2022, leading into Phase 2, the parking lot. Our goal amount is $160,000, and the goal date is raising it throughout 2023. As soon as 2022 is over, we would love to raise for 2023. To donate, you can visit missionhill.church/pavetheway. I think that video is awesome. Sarah Jacobs, that was legit. So, so basically, guys, as I mentioned, everything that you just saw in the video is basically laid out in this pamphlet as well. And so, at this point, let's just open it up. If anybody has any questions, anything that we can answer right here and now would be good. So, yes, ma'am. We're going to give you a mic. Because for the live stream.
Stina Vosberg. I have a couple questions. One is, why are we doing new pews as opposed to reusing the current pews?
Okay. There is an option to refurbish them. The price differential, it's not that great between just getting new pews and to be honest, we'd like something maybe a little bit more modern, just something different. They are falling apart in some places.
But they're so comfortable.
And the hope will be we will not lose comfort. So that will factor in.
Can I be on the pew trial committee?
We'll talk to me after. I'm taking auditions, so we'll see. You can apply with my secretary, so, okay.
Second question
Yes.
is, the house that's going to be raised, is there anything that can be salvaged and sold from that?
The house that we just purchased. Mm-hmm. My guess is, no, I mean, we considered all the options with that, and like, I don't know if there's much we can salvage. If there is, we will, but it's not looking great for that.
And third question.
Yes, ma'am.
Would there be a potential option for somebody to rent that house for the next year until it's
Sure.
to be raised?
I mean, I think the issue with that is one of the decisions we made in keeping this house down here was kind of, we ran into problems with outside renters. We were going through an outside kind of management company, and it was just a headache that I would say is not worth a year. And the house I don't know how you would assemble furniture get it upstairs. It's just, I don't know anybody that, it's just not a great house, and I don't think we're looking to just do that for a year. It's been a headache. in the past. It's a good question, though.
I just want to comment that the house we've been renting on Pleasant Street, though, we do continue to rent. And so as far as, that tenant, as far as I know, is going to stay there. So we are renting the one house. So it's just the one we recently purchased that we're not planning to rent.
Yes, sir.
If you do get new pews, would you sell the old ones somehow? Would there be any way to do that?
I mean, we'll auction them off if somebody wants to buy one. I don't know. I don't know what, we haven't really gotten that far of like getting these in, out, what's going to be done with them. I mean, I don't think I don't know if there's going to be a big desire to buy them from some, I don't know. We haven't really gotten that far.
Okay.
The live stream needs you to repeat the question.
Oh, gotcha. So the question was, what will happen with the existing pews if we get new pews? And we're not entirely sure, but Al, do you want to add?
Okay, I was online today, and I just went into I was looking at the pews and one company, and it said they're used pews. So I went in there. I bet there was 20 churches selling their pews, and most of them were around $100 or $75. So I don't see that we'd get a whole lot of money in being able to sell them, but.
So another thing too that we've done, at least when I started on the Evangelism Council, there's a couple older churches in more rural areas in the Brethren in Christ that shut down, and what they would do is they would offer it up to any kind of new church plants if they'd like to take any of the hymnals or any of the pews. Sometimes there's pianos, so that would be something that, I mean, it's up to the committee to decide, but yeah, those are options too, is to just use these to be a blessing maybe to someone else that's in need.
Yes, sir.
Just curious, and you may have shown this, what is the correlation between available seating in-house and the parking spaces?
Do you want to take that one, Michael? So the question was, you go ahead, you take it, repeat the question.
Your question was, how many seats do we have available now with pews versus how many we would with chairs? Is that your-
No, inside versus outside. How many seats we have?
Okay, currently we have a good amount of seating. We have like 145 linear feet, or, I'm sorry. Yeah, 630.3 linear feet. Honestly, we're running out of parking spaces. That's why we're demolishing 2 houses to expand and add 27, possibly 30. So we're growing in here. So, I mean, as the correlates, we have enough seats to get enough people. Like, if you look on a Sunday, we usually have enough room. But if we go with chairs, we won't. We're going to lose 30 linear feet of seating. So that's why we decided to go with pews, and should keep the amount or increase. And again, we can put more seating along the back. So right now, it looks like it's going to match pretty well.
I think, to answer your question too, a correlation, Mark, would be like, so I think for some people, if you heard 27 or 30 parking spots, you would say, is that worth demolishing 2 houses? And I think you're looking at that probably with a singular, that's 27 cars with 27 people. But the reality is, if my wife parks there, that's 6 people. And then certain people are, I would say correlation would be through 30 spots. That would easily open for 100 people amidst those. Is that kind of that's what you're asking? So yeah, I think those 30 spots could easily accommodate 100 people, or somewhere around there. So that's where that's what you were. Yes. Yep. Oh, we got Steve Bender.
Steve Bender. The shed, what size is that shed?
The shed that we're wanting to put in.
Yes.
That is, I mean, so the idea of where now we are going to place, so in a lot of the original drawings, the shed was up there, and where Michael said in the video, that potentially could be 3 more spots. what we're saying is down over here in this area where, you know, a lot of work gets done, there's a lot of things that come out that main floor, putting the building down over here so that as we open up the parking lot, I mean, I think it's going to create a pretty awesome view. And as we look out, we're not looking at a shed right there on the property. Right now, the specification, Steve, if I'm honest, with the 25,000, that's probably me. There's different things with the borough that I started to get into of, okay, what is the size that we need for putting in a fire extinguisher if we want to run electric? I mean, it's one of those where until we were ready to do the project, I could tell it was going to be very tough to get answers. So that one, if there's one thing that we, like I just estimated, looked at the building, we've discussed, do we want to do like a one-car garage size, a two-car, you know, so we're not specified on that yet, but that way we're not using that, it would be not in the line of vision, and it just, I think practically it makes more sense to be down over here beside the building. But the specifications I don't have yet.
Okay, I'm just, because we don't have a lot of space in this church. So my question is, it doesn't cost that much more to go higher and have a second floor if you need more space.
Okay.
And I know you guys talked before about, you know, you've done projects in this church, you talked about having in this garage. So that means electric for a table saw or whatever.
Well, that was part of the discussion too, or do we want it to just be a storage shed? And then, I mean, you're talking, you know, set some LVLs, sheet that with plywood, and then we don't have to do anything beyond that. That's something we could definitely look into.
I was just wondering, because that's where the 25,000 does not go that far when you start doing that kind of stuff.
Right, right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Sorry. That was it.
Okay. Mr. Burkett.
Yes. Just an observation, the national average is 2.7 per car.
Okay.
So that's not bad. But given the nature of our congregation, we've got a lot of young people. And young people tend to be very sociable. So I think we're going to beat that average. I think that those spaces will really be useful to us. But I do have a question. Were chairs seriously considered? Is there a reason why chairs were blitzed out early?
They were, and I'm glad that you asked that, Chuck, because I knew it was going to come up and I was going to address it anyways. So there has been an ongoing discussion, I know prior to me getting here, since I've been here, of between chairs and pews. And I think when we were able to sit, so with the theater seating, one of the things was it was almost a hybrid of both. In a way that the chairs could go up and then you could be able to clean under them, because there were issues with the chairs as far as cleaning. I think what a lot of people fail to think of with chairs is, yes, there's versatility, there's things that this room could be opened up for, but we also have we have a facility that has a gym. There's many places that I don't think we need to make this necessarily a multi-purpose room. And then there's the thing where people are like, hey, we'd love to use the sanctuary for something. Okay, does that mean the pastoral staff is tearing down all the chairs at the end of your event? Are you going to come and find us and find out the exact layout of every chair that goes out? At a previous church I was at, we had chairs. And I'm actually just saying, I can honestly tell everybody, I'm neutral in a sense of, whatever we picked of the three, I was good. One thing that I am aware of in my experience with chairs is they're never straight. You could straighten them the night before. Nobody could come into the church, and you'll come in and they'll be moved, and you don't know how it happened, and you're constantly like, who moved the chair? You know, like, and so I do think it would create, I think it's aesthetically, I think chairs are the best look. I really do. I think they're the sharpest look. I also know for the committee, one of the things that weighed heavily is we went to regional conference. We were in a very nice facility at Hollowell. The chairs looked nice. Rose was with 9 not small men, myself, Joel, Brenton, Emerson, Kyle, and she just said I was miserable. Like the whole time, I was just brushed up because there's 2 types of chairs. There's the regular size, and then there's the bigger size, okay? And the reality is, unless you go all bigger size, you are going to have uncomfortable people. I say all this, we weighed the pros and cons of everything, and then we believed we need to eliminate one, because if you're familiar with how brackets work, if you have an uneven amount of teams, one team gets a bye. So do we put chairs against pews? Do we do pews against? We felt we needed to eliminate the least practical, the option that we felt that served the church the least, and we felt that was chairs. And then we evaluated. One thing that's great for me in remaining neutral is I was a part of a meeting and I was preaching on Sunday, so I left at 9:45, and then another 45-minute meeting happened where I would say there's certain people on the team that were not all Team Pew from the beginning. And after the weighing the pros and cons, it was like, this is the best move to accommodate the fact that we're not just a church of 30-year-olds. We have a traditional service, and how people are able to enter and exit seating matters, and there's things that matter, and we weighed all the options, and I get it. I think chairs are sharp. But we felt that served the church the least, and then we evaluated and really said, what's going to be the best, and that's how we came to pews. So we felt chairs were the worst option. That's why they were eliminated, and they didn't make it to the second round. And then we discussed from there. Yes, ma'am. Let's get the microphone real quick, Michelle. Sorry.
I just want to say that I think the pews, personally, are a much better fit for us because of the way that our congregation is going with youth and the children and the parents. I mean, it's difficult with chairs to straddle the chairs with the kids in there. So I think it's a good decision to have the pews because of the versatility of the number of people we get and the sizes.
Right. I think one of the big pros as well was one of the things we're doing is we're creating space in the parking lot because of space needed in here. Why the option was pews provides more seating, and so that also aligns with expanding the parking lot. So, yes, ma'am. Thank you, Emerson.
Yeah, there was a very brief photo of, I guess, potential pews, what they might look like. Was that an actual representation, or if you looked at what?
I mean, we liked that one.
Okay.
It was one aesthetically that we did like. I think we're going to continue to make decisions on color schemes and different things like that as we move forward. But I think we liked that slick, modern look. And so that's. Yeah.
So you don't have a specific recommendation. It's just
not a specific pew, no.
Okay.
But I think we know what we have in mind. It's just finding those
Okay.
pew. Yep.
All right.
I think one thing for tonight is like right now the team's presenting and looking for affirmation to continue to move forward. So there's going to be some detailed questions that until as a congregation we say, yeah, we're supportive and moving forward with this. They're not going to have the specifics of that yet, but we're saying we'll talk later, but tonight as we affirm going forward, we're trusting them to make those decisions. So some of the stuff that's represented is aesthetically things that they like, but that's not necessarily what the final product will be until they haven't done that research until we give them the go-ahead for that.
Yes, sir. Mr. Starr.
More just a comment. I just want to follow up on Steve Bender's thought. I'm sure the bigger the building, I'm thinking second floor, what's code, all these kind of things in the borough. But I do think we need to look, because I don't want to be short-sighted on storage, and I want to make sure we got a place to park his grill so that he's free to cook often.
We're going to build a whole section.
I would just ask the committee.
Did I not have that, like the grill section in the budget? So, yeah. We have a Steve Bender budget.
I would just ask the committee to maybe wrestle with that a little bit.
Yeah.
And think about future
Right.
storage.
I think right now the conversation's gravitated more toward it's storage. It's not a full working shed. I mean, you could still go in there if need be but yeah. 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 So, yes. Any other questions? Okay. Sure. Okay. Just making sure. All right.
All right. Maybe we can just give these guys a round of applause for all the hard work that they put into that. Thank you all. It's just, yeah, a lot of them put in lots and lots of hours and lots and a lot of meetings, so I'm really grateful for you guys. I think I've told you guys my heart is really to empower people and then trust them as they make their decision kind of process. And so, and even us as elders, as we discussed, we receive the recommendation and we're in support of their recommendation kind of going forward with pews. And so the question is, how do we go about deciding? Do we go forward? Do we not go forward? Because we want your feedback from you guys. We want to know how you feel about it, but we also want it to be not divisive at all, right? And so we want to give space for questions and feedback, and we want to continue to do that. I know a bunch of people can't be here and are online, but in each of your booklets, there should be a ballot. Let me sure. Got the one without a ballot. All right, so for us, you guys have been presented with a lot of information tonight, and I want to give you guys time to process that and kind of take that in, take it home, discuss it with spouses, with friends. We're not in a rush or a hurry. We do need to at some point make a decision and to go forward. So on here, this Paving the Way campaign ballot, there's a yes or a no check. And so by voting yes or committing yes, you're affirming the plan that they've kind of said, hey, these are the numbers that they've given. They would like to go forward with pews. We affirm the team, the work that they've done. We trust them to kind of move forward, all right? That's what a yes would be. A no would be you disagree with their recommendations, you hate the project maybe altogether, and that's fine, guys. We don't all have to agree. It's okay. Again, most importantly, we want unity and Jesus to be glorified. So if you're not okay with it, that's fine. You can vote no, all right? If you like most of it, but there's something specific, like you just really don't think we need lighting, you can write that and say, I'm in favor, but there's a place for comments, but I don't agree with lighting or something like that. You're able to do that. Just communicate with us clearly because we want to hear where the congregation is at in supporting. If you want something addressed specifically, personally, like you are very opposed to something and you'd like a follow-up conversation with us, we would love to have that conversation with you, but you are going to have to put your name on the ballot as you turn it in so we know who to contact, okay? Otherwise, you don't need to put your names on it. And the way that you turn this in is during offering. You can put them in the offering box out there, or you can put them in the offering box on Sunday, and then the tellers will collect them and compile them. We will be collecting them May 18th. Is that right? No, it's not right. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. May 22nd. 22nd, all right? So we'll start on May 22nd will be kind of the cutoff date for receiving ballots from folks, all right? So you can turn them in this Sunday. You can do it tonight if you feel comfortable. Come in throughout the week. Just drop them off whenever. Okay, and if you come in during the week, there'll be a box outside of Luann's office where you can also drop them off, or on Sunday too. Also, one of the ways when they did the Paving the Way campaign earlier before is they asked people to consider if they'd be able to financially support the project, and that's not taking away from our tithes, our regular tithes, but it's saying, hey, I'm willing to commit to this over the next 2 years. I can give on top of what I already give to this project, okay? And if you feel like you can do that, then we would like to know just what you feel like you're comfortable with or what you're not comfortable with. You don't have to put in anything. Again, your name's not going to be on it. It'd be helpful for the team is if at the beginning of the project, we were able to get pledges from people to say, hey, over the next 2 years, the committee is committed to, or the congregation is committed to $50,000 or $70,000 or $100,000 or whatever it is, and then we can say, all right, we need to do some fundraisers to raise some money. So this is not we're going to write your name down and hold you accountable. Your name's not on this. We're just looking for the big number that the Paving the Way team committee can have going forward, so they know kind of what they're working with, and we can also begin to project when phase 1 might be finished and when phase 2 might be finished, all right? So it's simply for planning. We're not keeping track. We're not going to chase you down and be like, you said that's not our heart at all. We're just trying to be able to plan better. So if you're willing to pledge, you can write that down too with your vote, and then we'll collect all of that, and then we'll report, obviously, to everyone, let everyone know how it went, okay? For us as elders, we've discussed, we believe in this. The team's put a lot of effort into it. They believe in it. I believe God has given us the opportunity to purchase the property. This has been a process for us, and I think we're in a really healthy place going forward. But if half of you are against it, then we're not trying to shove something down people's throats that you don't want. We'll go back to the drawing table and say, hey, why are people not in support of it? And that's an opportunity, especially if you say no, for your comments, to give us feedback, to say, I'm not in support of it because of this or that. And that's an opportunity then for us to reevaluate. Is the timing wrong? Is the plan wrong? Do you hate the vision of it? So that's what that is for, right? We're looking for the congregation to be excited about it, to be behind it, to be in support of it going forward. Okay. Does anyone have any questions on the ballot or the voting? Brenton has some at the back. If you're watching online, we will have them over by the church office on Sunday morning. I guess we can probably have some. We'll put some out. So there'll be some over by the church office. We are asking people that watch the presentation to vote. If you haven't watched the presentation, please watch the presentation before you vote. It will be live online. Okay. Yeah, I know, but if people hear about it from friends, I want them to say, if they're upset about something, I want you to go watch the presentation. Have your friend go watch the presentation before they go and are upset or about something. I think people should have the information before they make a decision. So, yes, Mick. Yeah, we'll have to look into it. We don't have that right now, but we can maybe create a digital copy. We'll see. We'll go from there. Or, I mean, if someone watched online and they still can't come out, because of COVID, I encourage you can bring them one. That's fine. Also, if they want, if you know people that need a booklet or something, those will be available on Sunday also. All right. Anything else? Last minute question. Yes, Steve. If we move forward with the pews, how many months will it be until we get them installed? That's a great question. I don't think we have a good answer for that at the moment. Just honestly, as we were hanging sound panels this week, Chase and Al and I were in here, we were realizing that the light is a pretty big issue because everything looks really yellow. If you were to take your phone light, and you can do this before you leave tonight, and go up to the wall and shine your light on the wall, it's not cream or yellow. It's a very different color than what it actually looks like. And so we did say, the things that they were talking about was like, maybe we need to figure out, sometimes we think those are the biggest things that need to get done, but it might be that lighting needs to get done first, so we figure out what actual colors we're looking at. So I'm going to trust them to have that discussion and kind of make those decisions. Chase, if you want to add.
I think it would be the natural, lighting was at 10,000, we could start there. And then I think pews, carpet, that's going to be last, after certain updates and then coming down. So, the hope would be to raise it and then start as soon as possible. So that'd be target date. Donnie.
Just a quick question is, would it be more cost savings to tear the house down now and not pay taxes, and then eventually do the parking lot, but just to get it down, just to get it demolished and then save on the taxes?
It's something we can look into. I mean, there's a possibility of someone that might be willing to take it down for fun. We don't know. Like, I mean, like, it's going to be a legitimate thing, but they were like, I would love to take that down, and so, yeah. I mean, I actually got a quote from like a company, and they came in, and I gave them a little bit of a cushion, but it might be where, yeah, we have somebody. It's actually Jackie's dad that wants to take them down, and I'm going to explore that option. Like, if he, like I said, wants to do it for fun, we can deliver that price. We'll give him all the fun he wants, so, yeah.
I would say, though, we're probably not going to take them down early because we have people living in the one next to it, so it'd be like doing one demo and then waiting and then coming and doing another one. So it's more practical to do it at the same time. Yeah, Jackie. Yeah, so Jackie's asking, is it just for members who, for voting? So we're looking for a vote of affirmation. As we discussed it with elders, we recognize that anyone, like people that attend here regularly and are committed to giving are part of this project. And so we felt like if you are a regular attender and you want to commit to giving, then you can vote, a yes vote of affirmation or no vote. It's fine either way. But yeah, we're opening it up to the whole church because we felt like this is something it's not our church standard budget. This is separate from that. This is a capital campaign. If people want to commit to it, then we're opening it up to everyone to vote. I would also say one more thing is that we don't want to, I think this was clear, but we don't want to go into any debt. So we're raising the money first and then going kind of forward with the project. So that's the plan. We're not borrowing any money at this point in time. We're not affecting our budget. We're raising the money and then doing the project as we have it. Yeah, Janice.
I have a question or concern on the pews. I would hope with something that big that someone who's accustomed to building or woodworking would make sure they're good, sturdy pews, not something that's, going to fall apart on us.
Yes. So Janice is saying she hopes that, considering the pews and what we purchase will be good, sturdy, and we can have someone that we trust to make the decision. I would say I do. All right. So, yeah, we checked with the person that built these is who Al checked with. These have lasted 38 years, so that's pretty good. Recommendation from them. I would just say, too, I trust these guys. They're going to do those kinds of things. They've done their homework. So, yeah, if it's coming from them as a recommendation, we support it. But, yes, I think I wrote a letter to you guys in the beginning of this, and what we've talked about is this: when they built this sanctuary, they have stewarded it very well. It's lasted 38 years. And so we don't want to be changing the sanctuary every 5 years and doing updates. We want it to last for decades again going forward. So when we build it, we want to update it. We want to do it with good quality, and I think everyone's on the same page with that. All right. It's almost 7:30. Thank you, guys. I'm going to pray, and then we'll be done. If you have more questions, these guys will be around for a few more minutes. You can come talk to Chase or myself. But I just want to really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys for giving up part of your evening to come here and just be part of this. So, Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come together tonight. God, I pray that you would be glorified. God, help us to steward our facilities well. I pray that we would have communicated everything clearly. If there's any follow-up questions or lingering concerns, Lord, I pray that, people would feel comfortable to come have conversations with the Paving the Way team or Chase or myself. Lord, I just pray that through this whole process, this would be something that we look back on with sweet memories of times that we continue to move forward together as a church family. We thank you, Jesus, for your faithfulness to us. We thank you for your faithfulness to this church for over 100 years, Lord. I pray that as we go forward and can strive to love you, to love people and make disciples, God, that you would continue to go before us. I pray that the updates to our facilities, Lord, would help us to do that well.